everybody, and welcome back to Keely's Creations. I am Keely Kerwin, and today I am here to share with you a 4 double page layout workshop using the Country Woods papers, but the Seaside Wishes hybrid embossing and die folders. You guys are going to love this. I absolutely love these hybrid folders. It is something that we did not have at close to my heart. So it can do some embossing on its own. It can do die cutting on its own. And if you combine the two, you make a really cool masterpieces as far as some of the embellishments are going to go for these layouts. So if you like what you've seen here today, feel free to give me a thumbs up or subscribe down below. Otherwise, let's get started. Hey everybody, it is Keely. I know it is Monday afternoon and not Monday evening. I am going live today because tomorrow we leave, Sean and I do, for Disney World on our first Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. So that's super exciting, but it's also super stressful because I have a lot of things to get done before we leave. Our flight is at 6:30 tomorrow morning. So Nathan is taking us to the airport at 4:30. We're leaving here anyway. But today I wanted to share with you a paper pack that I have absolutely loved from the start. I have already ordered and have started using my second paper pack in a different way, but this one is called Country Woods. It is a whole bunch of different kinds of wood patterns in different colors, different shades, different wood grains, as well as then combined it with the Seaside Wishes hybrid embossing folder bundle. So I originally was able to purchase the bundle that included a stamp set. The stamp is no longer available, but the actual embossing and die folder is. So you guys, I can't wait to share that with you. I'm going to set these layouts off to the side. As I said, it's going to make 4 double page layouts, and this is kind of going to be a seaside theme. We actually created these layouts almost a year ago. It was back in July of last year when we were in Delaware, and just so many amazing products have come out. In the meantime, I haven't had a chance to share this with you, and I wanted to share it before this paper. I thought maybe this paper pack would be going away, but luckily it is still going to be available in the new catalog. It was in the 2024-2025 annual, and it's now in the 2025-2026 annual. So it's going to be around for a long time yet. It's been restocked. And then the embossing folder and dies are still available. So I wanted to share this with you. So we'll set that off to the side. This is the new catalog. For those that have not seen it, this is the new 2025-2026 annual catalog through Stampin' Up. And so it's got a whole bunch of beautiful artwork and stamp sets and dies and papers and scrapbooking workshops. And I'm just giving you a little bit of a sneak peek right through here. I do plan to do a walkthrough, but it probably will not be until I get back from Florida. But I did want to share with you this section here, which is which paper will you choose? And it's the DSPs. So these are the DSPs that are new and DSPs that are carrying over from prior years. So the Regal Distress, you guys saw I did Regal cards and layouts using that. This is new Irresistible Designs. I have no idea how you actually pronounce this. Kinsui Inspirations, which is a 12 by 12 pack with some gold foil stuff. The Season of Elegance, I've done a mini Christmas album using that. That's carrying over. This one's new, Florals in Bloom. And then over here, we have Nests of Winter, and you guys have seen I've done 2 separate scrapbooking workshops using that one because I absolutely love that paper pack. The new Turtley Cute, Perennial Lavender. I do have a workshop for this. I just have not had time to create it yet, which is a carryover from even before the last annual catalog. This one was a very popular kit, and it would be perfect. My grandma loved purple and flowers, so I really want to create this one. I just have not had time. Country Woods, this is the one I'm sharing with you today. So it is 12 by 12. And it's $12.50. This Thoughtful Journey was in last year's. It is a 6 by 6 pack. And then the new Beautiful Gallery is also a 6 by 6 paper pack as well. And then the Splendid Autumn, which I believe was an online exclusive at one time, is a 6 by 6. The new Boho Vibes 6 by 6, and the Beautiful Bokeh, which is carrying over, which is 6 by 6. And then you guys, I absolutely love how they displayed this DSP this year. Last year, it was like this little teeny picture and just said you can get it in all the colors, but you had no idea really what you were looking at. This year, it's amazing because they're all the same patterns, but it's by color family. So you have your 2024 to 2026 in colors. So these were the new in colors last year. You have your new 2025 to 2027. So this year and going forwards in colors. And then you have your brights, your neutrals, your regals, and your subtles. And they're all in 6x6. There's 40 sheets, and there's 2 of each designs in these 4, and then there's 4 of each in these, and they are double-sided. So you have 2 different kinds of patterns going on the front and on the back. One of more bold color, a more light color. I think, yep, that's it for as far as the carryover papers, and then some of the new ones. And then there's also workshops and other papers and kits in the front of the catalog. But this is what we're focusing on today, the Country Woods. So I wanted to share that with you. I did use the pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. And again, you guys can tell I absolutely love Stampin' Up's embellishments. I add them to everything, not just this one, any embellishment. So you will see on the layouts, I used some of the pecan pie, and then the other ones, I believe they're clear. And I think I used some of the clear ones too, but I used a lot of these brown ones on here. And so this pack is almost gone, but they're really fun because I don't know if you can see it up close, but it is clear. It's got the brown in it, and then it's got like lines in it to make it look like that it's been ribbed. So it's very, very fun. This is called Seaside Wishes. This was the stamp set. So the stamp set itself is no longer available. Just so you are aware of that, I want you to know that the stamp is not. But you guys know how I store mine, and that is with the dies, magnetic dies off to the side. So I add the 5x7 to the folder. So I have my stamps, I have my dies, and then this hybrid embossing folder also fits directly in here, which is perfect. So even though you can't get the stamp any longer, you guys, you could still purchase these boxes in a 3-pack, and so you'd still be able to put your dies and your embossing folder together in one and store it that way. So this is what I'm sharing that is used on all these layouts. This layout itself, or this workshop itself, is going to be called Seaside Wishes, even though I use the Country Wood paper pack because this is the die set that's used. And what is so cool about this, okay, you guys, you can see this. So this is for for 3 sand dollars actually, right? These fit inside if you wanted to make those, but you can cut these out. Or here is the embossing folder. So it is 3 sand dollars, right? You got your sand and your bubbles, right? Could be used for water, could be used for the sand. And what's cool about this is that you can emboss using this folder itself as a standalone. You can die cut using this die as a standalone, or you can combine the two. So you would put your paper in, and then you put the die in here, and it kind of clicks into place. It doesn't slide around once it's in its right spot. You put it in, you put your paper down, and you put it shut, and it will then cut and emboss it at the same time. So we currently have around 6 different hybrid embossing folders, which we did not have at Close to My Heart. You either had dies or you had an embossing folder. These are super fun because it'll do it all at once. So it's going to cut out this image, this big image, and then it's going to emboss around the outside of it, and it's going to cut and emboss these little sand dollars. So you could always stick it back together if you wanted it to be a full page 4x6 image. So I'm going to show you, how did I have this in here? I'm going to show you, and then you have 3 different sizes seagrass. You have a starfish, and a large and a small, and then the other 2 sand dollars. We're going to show you how we use this. One of the other things I wanted to share then is the actual paper pack. So this is the Country Woods, and I had used 2 of the dark sheets on another project already. So 2 of the sheets are missing. So this is your fronts and backs. So you will see that this is one that I absolutely love this. It totally reminds me of East Coast. I don't know why. Maybe because that's where we did it, was in Delaware, right? You have this wood grain pattern with a blue. Let me do it this way so that they're still in order when I want them. This darker wood grain with more of a pinky and gray. Another darker one with the white. I really like that look too. Then you have this one, and with the darker grays and the lighter grays. And then there was a really dark wood one that had it had wood panels. And I used that one on a paper pumpkin project. And you guys, I am all caught up on paper pumpkin. I'm so excited, other than April, because April came pretty much while I got the cards done, but it had come right when I was at my retreat. So I did not get the layouts done, but I have all my prior paper pumpkin kits and layouts all completed and turned into cards and then turned into the layouts. All right, what I wanted to share with you is when you spend $50, you guys know that you get the workshop guides for free. So this was created. This was a labor of love created in Delaware. It was designed by Tina Lovell and Jen Patrick, and then the rest of us were in charge of cutting up pieces, cutting up the papers, die cutting all the pieces, putting them in order, and then doing some splattering, and then assembling for those that are designing the next project. And so we've all had a hand in working on this, but Tina is the one that put the guide together. So with a $50 purchase, you can get this a $50 guide a guide for free with a $50 purchase, and it will show you how to assemble like we did, and then all of the supplies needed, the photos, how you need them, and then how everything is cut up. So it was a definite fun project to do, and this will be our 3rd year going back to Delaware to create more beautiful artwork to be able to share with you guys. So let's get started, okay? Layout number 1. This one is called Getaway. So Jen had created some titles that she thought would go good with, we talk about it beforehand before we leave for Delaware, a good, couple months before we go out. So we all know what to bring, like what papers, what stamps, what dies, that kind of thing. And so we knew we were going to do the country woods. And then we wanted to use the Seaside Wishes products. We didn't know how they would go together, but Jen had done some titles in colors that coordinated with this. And so with the guide, you also get a Cricut file that will give you the different titles that we used on all these layouts. So how cool is that? So here you can see we used strips of some of the DSPs to put this layout together, a little bit of it on the top. Now these layouts are still using some gold glitter paper that we had from Close to My Heart. These would look absolutely gorgeous with the gold foil paper that Stampin' Up! Offers now as well. Definitely, I think the brushed one would be really pretty too, because it's kind of got some texture to it. So I think that would be perfect for these layouts. So you can see here we did a horizontal 4x6 and 2 vertical 4x6s, 4x4, and then a horizontal 3x4. We also used, oh my goodness, I did not bring it down. I think it's listed in here in the things. It was part of like a Christmas stamp that matched, but it had tags, and it is called Greetings of the Season Dies, or you could cut tags from the Cricut, which we did here. So these were not from the Cricut, these were cut using the dies. So this was just a full one here, and then we just added a rectangle on here to be able to do a little journaling, but it's the same die. And when I show you up close, you'll be able to see the dots that are on the outside of it that make it look like it has that stitched mark. Now you guys, I love these layouts because it definitely shows how the dies are used. So the dies for sure right here, and the starfish that are here. Again, we have our triangle clusters going on, so it keeps your eye going horizontal along the pages, right? But also have the use of the embossing folders in multiple ways. One where it was cut directly from the embossing folder and that die together, like I showed you, and then we inked them. So you actually take the ink, your ink pad, and you put it inside of you mark up the inside of your embossing folder, add your paper, and then you're able to cut it out, and it's inked various spots on here. You could probably too like ink over the top of it after you've done it, but I don't think it would turn out as well. It's just cool because it's how various, like you got a little bit more ink here and less ink other places. And then what we also did is this strip right here is not one long strip, it's 2 strips that were just cut so that we could then do the same thing. But instead of die cutting it, we just left it in the embossing folder. So these are still solid, they're still together, they're not cut apart. And you can see we have cut them in multiple colors. So this would have come from one because it's the large, the medium, and the small, and then the medium and the small here. So on this piece, you just have the 2 separate pieces put together, but hidden by the photo mat. And then a couple little wood banners up above. The only things that I did pop up on this layout are the 3 starfish, just to give it a little bit more dimension. Again, Getaway is a Cricut cut. And then you will see the ribboned embellishments that are used here, the pecan pie. So I'm going to kind of try to get this up close so that you can see some of these details and how it actually ends up looking. Okay, and then this, and again, you could use that gold foil paper. We carry the foil so that it's super shiny, or we carry the other one that has like a texture to it, the brushed. These layouts also were splattered, so we had taken a shimmer brush, an old Close to My Heart shimmer brush, I don't even know what color that's in, and then tapped it. But what you can also do is take the water brush, or take the Wink of Stella and use the cover of your ink pad and squeeze it so that you can get some of the ink on the ink pad, or use some reinker and just touch it there and then splatter. It just gives it kind of like a little, like a sand element to it. Okay, so that was layout number 1. Layout number 2 is called Endless Summer. Let me get these. Hopefully the whole thing, there we go, is showing on the screen for you. And again, this is with strips of paper, the DSPs, the patterns. Also, again, using that same technique like we did on the prior layout where we embossed. So it kind of looks like it could be sand or it could be water bubbles, right? Ocean bubbles. So this is when I was talking about that I had used the dark wood grain on another layout. I used it for the January paper pumpkin, I believe it is. It's the one that has the red gold foil stuff. It made it pop so beautifully. And so this was the other pattern that is in that. So you could do some journaling on here. This one's called Endless Summer. It was done with a Cricut cut. Again, we did splattering. So we did splattering on all 4 layouts, on all 4 double page 8 layouts. Again, this time instead of cutting it in the gold glitter, we just cut out of regular cardstock. And then again, we cut and inked and embossed these sand dollars here. Turned out awesome. So this title, Endless Summer, was popped up, which took a little bit because those are some tiny little letters to get the foam underneath. And again, my starfish are popped up on here. Added some of the pecan pie gems on there just to give it a little extra bling, and the gold glitter that could be swapped out for gold foil. So how fun is that? How gorgeous. I absolutely love these. And we have multiple, I think it's 6 now, different hybrid embossing folders. And I have all of them. I have done projects, I believe, with 3 out of the 6. 1 came out before we joined, so I didn't even know what a hybrid embossing folder was. So of course, once I knew what it was and what it did, I had to order it, which does a whole bunch of really pretty hearts. So that I definitely one. And the newest one that came out has sailboat and ocean. So that one's really pretty, but I haven't had time to play with that. So this layout is going to use 5 vertical 3x4s and then 2 2x2s. And again, a place to do your journaling. So that is layout number 2. Layout number 3. This one uses that really pretty wood grain of the various colors that reminds me kind of like the boardwalk, right? So this is layout number 3. We're titled this one Paradise. This one is going to use a couple different elements from that. We used some of the seagrass and used it in the light side and then the dark side. So this, because we did this back in July, we did not have all the Stampin' Up! Colors. So this was called Lagoon with Close to My Heart, which was our dark side and our light side. And now the pattern paper, just so you know, in the new catalog, all of our cardstock 12x12 is 2-tone double-sided white core, so you can get the same kind of cardstock that you could with Close to My Heart, but now through Stampin' Up! As well. So again, you can see how beautifully these turn out. You have your small, your medium, and your large, and you have your small, your medium, and your large, and done with the inks. We used some of the, oh my goodness, starfish. So the only difference that would be for you guys without having the stamp set itself is that your starfish you might need to do in like a brown paper because the stamp is no longer available. So you wouldn't be able to do the stamping directly like we were able to. But if you come to one of my retreats, I have my stuff there, you'd be able to utilize it. So some fun. Again, using some of the glitter elements just to give it a little sparkle. So these, I don't know what you call those. Those aren't sand dollars. Those are like... it'll come to me, of course, when the video is done. And then using some of the glitter, again, to go with the seagrass and just turning the seagrasses different ways and different shapes to do that using the pecan pies. So we have 1 horizontal 4x6, 1 vertical 4x6, 3 horizontal 3x4s, and 1 4x4. This you could also stamp a title on here or write a date or do a little tad bit of journaling if you wanted to on that piece. And I love how this one is triple layer or double layered. So we have the brown beneath it and then the lagoon underneath it, kind of just pops that off. And then the fun little banner. Again, we did splattering on the outsides of both. And that paper, I just love that pattern paper. Or DSP, I should say. So let's show you those fun elements that were then clustered together. And again, the Paradise is a Cricut cut title that comes with the guide, the link to it to be able to cut that out. Or you can use your dies, your alpha dies, to create your own titles if you wanted as well. So that is layout number 3, Paradise. And then the last layout is called, let's get this all on the screen here, bring it down a little bit. This one is My Favorite Photos, Fun and Sun. And this one, again, uses some of that fun pattern paper I like, but we use the tearing technique again too, using different sides of the pattern papers or the DSPs. Give a couple different wood grains up here and a third one down below. So you're using 4 of the wood grain papers down here, using some of the glitter, but again, you could use that gold foil. Sea fans, I think that's what they're called, right? Sea fans, and then some, again, of the embossed hybrid folder. I absolutely love it. Some sea grass in there, and then your little starfishes. And this layout's going to get a lot of pictures on it too. I love these for summer and for beach. You have 2 vertical 4x6s, a horizontal 4x6, 2 4x4s, and then 2 vertical 3x4s as well. And then we just layered this. My favorite photos was from the Cricut, but then layered the lagoon piece, like scrap paper, just underneath those. I laid those flat, and on this one I popped up that sand dollar and then the 2 starfish again, and as well as the Fun in the Sun title over here. It just fit very nicely. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a fun way of using a paper pack. Again, it was called Country Woods. So it would be perfect for, you know, country photos too, because these remind me of old rusted trucks, like out on the farm. So it'd be fun to do farm pictures on here too, but it was just a fun change of using it for beach as well. And I thought it worked perfectly for that. And I'm super excited to go back to Delaware in July and create with some more awesome papers and embellishments and things that I would not have thought to do. So, and that I don't have time to create on my own. So I absolutely love going with those girls and just seeing how their thought process works and how their artwork turns out. I don't mind being so we joke that on a lot of them, there was one last year that we had done too. It was a Christmas one. And it had so many die cuts to it. And my arm hurt by the time the weekend was done because I was the I called myself the cranky biatch because I was the one that was cranking out all those. And then every once in a while I would get cranky because it was a lot to do. But the layouts turn out so great. And I absolutely love everything that we create while we're there. So I hope you enjoyed these. Let me know down below which is your favorite, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if you have any questions, as always, feel free to comment down below or send me a private message. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep crafting. Love ya. Watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed my scrapbooking video. If so, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I look forward to sharing new creations with you next week. To keep the crafting fun going, check out my prior scrapbooking videos. I appreciate your support. Stay happy, stay healthy, and keep crafting!